All right, hello everyone out there. Uh, my name is Thomas, and I run welcome to my channel. I run an educational business called Mass Model Alternative School Services. Today we're going to look at the question, how does the tree of life help us from getting stressed out? So just to go back, Mass Model Alternative School Services, we create and distribute educational products, books, audiobooks, videos, articles, and courses. Mass specializes in tree of life, which I've also elaborated into another dimension that I call the MASSTree. So here is the tree of life. You can see the diagram. You may know it as the Kabbalah. This is a very similar, same diagram more or less, but a slightly different interpretation. You can see here that the tree has 10 different spheres or circles in this diagram. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. There's an abyss right here. And then we have 3, 2, 1, and 0. So 0 through 10 plus the abyss. That is 12 total categories. So 12 categories, which are our faculties of consciousness. The MASSTree, the second dimension, has 12 times 12, or 144 different categories or fractal faculties, if you will. Also, you can think of them as stages of life, but you don't really think of it as chronological stages. It's really, they are dramatic stages. So stages where there's some kind of drama that needs to be resolved. So I have done a short introduction on the Tree of Life that is on this channel. It's just called Tree of Life, an Introduction. It's just about 10 minutes. Give you a little baseline foundation in case you get confused on this video, but I'm hopefully going to just try to let this stand alone here as we answer the question about how to keep from getting stressed out. Mass is bringing you a short series of videos on the tree to demonstrate its capabilities, because the tree is really an indispensable tool that can be used for seemingly anything in the realm of consciousness. So we're going to try it here. How does a tree keep us from being stressed out? A tree is a tool to evaluate and negotiate the societal forces at play that are designed to put pressure on us. Being prepared mentally for these pressures virtually defeats them from the start. So we have a big advantage just by knowing that these pressures exist and having some start toward being prepared for them. Stress generally emanates from the sphere, which is our, logical faculty. So a lot of the stress that we get is coming from the sphere. This sphere is also where all the institutions are, the news media, the educational institutions, the church, the financial institutions, the government. All the so-called experts in society reside at the sphere, and they're constantly putting pressure on us. And so that's really where the stress is coming from. For example, you can look at stage number 26, which is called FLAC, or peer pressure. So once we recognize that if we kind of step out of line, we're going to receive flack, we can expect it and defend ourselves against it and eventually become immune to it. Also, we have stage number 25, going through the motions. Much of being stressed out is self-inflicted through lifestyle choices. We use substances to help us cope, and we have excessive needs that leave us overworked just to maintain. Lessen the needs, lessen the pressure. Ask ourselves, do I really need that thing? Or is it really just stressing me out? So using our logical faculties of the A-sphere only, we can dig even deeper holes for ourselves and become even more stressed out. Like you see at number 25. Also number 27, which is called rationalization. Stockholm syndrome. We trick ourselves into accepting being stressed out as if it's normal and unavoidable. This also keeps ourselves in the A-sphere, which is really not where we want to be. Not to say that the A-sphere is all bad. It's logical reasoning, and it has its own purposes. But in the case of the tree of life, in the case of life in general here in the world now, the A-sphere has just taken up a disproportional amount of our attention and importance. And so we need to tone down the emphasis on the A-sphere in life. So we can also see this at stage number 28, which is called cool front. You can think of it as like welfare capitalism, also limited hangout. So the cool front makes us feel like we're lucky just to be stressed out, because at least we're surviving, and have some degree of autonomy. So we're happy to be stressed out at the cool front. Number 29, paradigm, believing propaganda, otherwise known as fake news, that is constantly putting us in a state of fear and therefore into being stressed out. But then, at the upper part of the A-sphere, we do start to make some headway. Number 33, which is called entreaty deity or prayer, seems to lower the pressure. We put the pressure on the creator. So that, lowers our stress level. But then at number 34, which is called unforeseen consequences, we try to think our way out of the stress, but not carefully enough. We put thought and effort into getting out of being stressed out, but we neglect one or more important details and have the plans blow up in our face, like Wile E. Coyote. We cannot solve problems. We have to know that we cannot solve problems from the same level, from the A-sphere that created the problems in the first place. So we really need to go to a higher level, to move beyond that. But then when we get to the upper part of the A-sphere, we are somewhat able to transcend. Here at number 35, we have what's called intellect is the verbal clothing of knowledge. Recognizing that our left brain verbal thinking is not our highest form of consciousness, but just symbols to express an inner knowing, where the left brain is really, lower left brain, is really a distraction that we don't, so that we don't uncover our higher left brain faculties and our right brain forms of consciousness, which is the only way that we can get out of being stressed out. So at least at the top of the A-sphere, we're recognizing the limitations of the A-sphere and endeavoring to move into the higher spheres. So all we have to do is just move into the 7th sphere. And you can see the 7th sphere and the A-sphere are just right across from each other. This is 8 and this is 7. 8 is really a left brain thing, and 7 is really a right brain thing. But they're both low on the tree, so these are lower faculties. As we move up the tree, we get into higher faculties, but these are really like these are really the left brain things, and these are the right brain things. So so at the 7th sphere, we have some creative weapons at our disposal to fight against these 8 sphere stress factors. Uh, Number 39, for example, stage 39, minimal compliance, gives us steps to decrease the pressure without wasting too much of our energy. It's minimal compliance is to a certain extent a weapon of the weak, but it's something that helps us create a little bit of wedge, give us a little breathing room, so that we can strengthen ourselves to be able to, not be so weak. So it's a weapon of the weak, but it's a strategic weapon. Just giving minimal compliance to the mandates while we actually put our energy into something that is not part of the mandates. Because what happens is we recognize that there's very little that you have to do to get to be in compliance. They don't expect very much of us, and they don't really. These people that are in charge at the A sphere, most of them are drug addicts, and they have other things going on in their mind. They don't have time to really enforce things on us. They just give us like a one size fits all kind of standard, and as long as you get over that, they don't really pay attention to us too much. So we recognize that all we have to do is just give them a little bit, and then we can get on with our own lives. So this is, minimal compliance is a way to use the 7th sphere to turn around the A sphere. Especially, though, when we get to the top of the 7th sphere, we can eliminate stress almost entirely here. Number 46, intuition mechanism, which tunes us into solutions to our problems. Now, the 7th sphere in general is a right brain thing. Creativity, imagination, and also pleasure principle. And so, at the top of the 7th sphere, we find our intuition, our heart. What's really, it's really like the inverse of prayer, where we pray, we put our desires out to God or the Creator. And here at the intuition mechanism, we are really just receptive. We wonder, and we're curious, and we tune in to what's deeply inside of us, and we get the answers. Those answers always have to be verified, though, because we can mistranslate. But number 46, intuition mechanism, tunes us into solutions to our problems. And number 47, inspiration, gives us powerful motivation. We see other people doing things that we aspire to, and it gives us a little boost. So we use that, and also then at the very top of the 7th sphere, number 48, pointing to a mission. That gives us our raison d'etre, or our who am I, answers who am I, and it eliminates being stressed out for good. Once you really tune into who you are, then, all that other stuff is like water off a duck's back. You can just, it might stress you out just for a second until you shake your head and remember that, okay, this is what my goal is. This is what I'm here for. I'm not going to let this stuff, distract me. It's just a distraction at that point. So an overview of the tree can really give us, a way to kind of get off the beaten pathways of the A sphere and give us novel ways to look at our situation, so that a life of being stressed out is replaced by a more purposeful life. Okay, well, that is about it for this video. Please click the link if you would like me to send you a free copy of my guide to the 144 fractal faculties or stages of life, spirituality, history, and cosmology, annotated. And also, while you're there, you can like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.